Thanks for joining me today for another gluten-free recipe. Today we will be making gluten-free chocolate chip cookies, one of my favorites. Although let's face it, cookies are just my favorite in general, aren't they? So we're going to start by mixing the dry ingredients in a bowl. And we have a half a cup of tapioca flour, 3/4 of a cup of almond flour, 3 tablespoons of coconut flour, a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar, a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and if you do not have either of those, you could substitute 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I just choose not to use baking powder. And let's see, here we go. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and an 1/8 teaspoon of Xanthan Gum. And we're just going to whisk these dry ingredients together. Now that the dry ingredients are whisked together, we're just going to set them aside. And we're going to pull out the stand mixer. If you do not have a stand mixer, you can use just a bowl and a handheld mixer. Or you could do this by hand, but you really better have some muscles to do this. We've got 6 tablespoons of room temperature butter. Although it's a little chilly today, I'm not sure exactly how soft the butter is, but we're going to make do. And I'm using a half a cup of monk fruit. As you know, monk fruit is my chosen sweetener. You may choose to use coconut sugar. You could even try some honey. If you use coconut sugar or honey, you will definitely not use the coconut milk that I will be adding later in the recipe. But we're going to turn this on and we're going to whip this up until it's nice and fluffy. So it'll be about 2 minutes or so on about a medium-high speed of the mixer. So the butter and the monk fruit are all whipped up together, and now I'm going to add to this 1 egg, 1 large egg, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, pure vanilla extract, and 1 tablespoon of coconut milk. If you are using another sweetener other than the monk fruit, you could eliminate the coconut milk. You won't need it. Monk fruit, it doesn't have the moisture in it that you have in other sweeteners, so I always add a little extra liquid to my recipes when using that. And we're going to put this back on the mixer and mix it up nice and blend it. Alright, our wet ingredients are all mixed together here with our monk fruit. It's a little lumpier than I'd like it, so like I said, it's a cooler day today, so I don't believe that my butter was soft enough, but there we have it. So now we are going to add the dry ingredients to the mixer while it's running on low speed. Everything blended up nice. You can see I've got a nice little cookie dough going there. And if you need to at any time, feel free to pause the mixer and scrape down your sides as needed when mixing the wet ingredients or the dry into the wet. But we're going to mix it all till it's incorporated. And we're going to add in a half a cup of chocolate chips. You know I'm using my Stevia sweetened chips because that's how I like them. And just fold this in. And then you want to take a parchment paper lined baking sheet. For any of you that are familiar with gluten-free items, they do tend to stick a little bit, so always want to stick with parchment paper or a silicone baking mat if that's your preference. And we're just going to put a spoonful of dough onto the cookie sheet. Now, if you're using another sweetener, you can certainly leave it just like this. It will spread nicely. I'm using the monk fruit. The cookie will not spread, so I'm just going to flatten it down slightly, about like so. And I'm going to continue to fill this cookie sheet, and then I'll bring the video around and let you see how it looks before it goes in the oven. The cookies are ready to go in the oven. I'm going to bake them for about 12 to 15 minutes in a preheated 350 degree oven. And I'm using stoneware, so it will definitely be 12. It could be as much as 15. If you're not using stoneware and you're using a metal pan, you will need to drop that a little bit, maybe just about 2 minutes or so. And I have a little bit of cookie dough left. I'm going to continue to put them on a cookie sheet, and I'll bring the video back when we're ready to take the first sheet out of the oven. The timer just went off, so let's take a peek at the cookies. Oh, very nice. I'm not sure that you can see, but they're slightly golden around the edges of the cookies, and they're fairly firm to the touch. So we can let these cool, and I can put the remaining dough in the oven. I usually get about 1.5 dozen cookies with this recipe, and I am going to remove the cookies to cool. So I'll catch you when we're ready to give them a taste. So the cookies seem to be cool enough. Let us try a bite, shall we? Perfect. Not so warm that they're burning my mouth, but the chocolate is still kind of gooey and ooey, just divine. I want to take a look at that cookie if you can see it, but they are just yummy. And I hope you enjoy our gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. And I'll catch you next time in another one of our gluten-free videos. Have a great day.